Coming from the Truspace, we ain't answer to big neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace.
What's good, y'all? My name's Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Hearth. Welcome back to Truspace.
And this is your weekly horoscope. So let's go through the energies of the week and see what we're going to be hit with. So looking at Monday, starting off the week, we have the moon entering Virgo post full moon, making a trine with the North Node Uranus in Taurus. How do you think this is going to end up hitting us?
So right now we're going to be in the energy of emotion, reacting to being flexible, adaptable, and decisive with practicality, what makes sense, how we organize things, our health. But we are in this energy to basically organize and practicalize what we did when we had the full moon in Leo. Our performance, our self-expression, our creativity, us bringing our truth in front of the stage, in front of Saturn and Aquarius, which is us starting to integrate, basically trying to combine our self-creativity into society, our finding a spot for ourselves. So the moon in Virgo right now is you sitting back, basically practicalizing and figuring out how you can organize these things. If you had a good performance, a good self-expression, then you could have something to organize and something to work on and continue off to basically to Pisces season and basically work with your associate as you experience the rest of this moon cycle, which is the letting go sequence, starting with Virgo, digesting everything that happened so far. And with the trine with the North Node in Uranus in Taurus, this uniqueness, originality will be building for a while through our safety, our sense of security. Right now, with the moon in Virgo, you could sit back and try to grab more from it, so you can utilize it. Every time I feel like every time the moon in Virgo is giving us a chance to utilize that energy, more of it, figure out how to utilize it more properly. Since moon in Virgo is very adaptable abroad, it could handle that Uranus being debilitated in Taurus, even though it's debilitated here. Everything is very hard to invest. Everything is falling down when it comes to like the economy. But when the moon comes to Virgo, it could give you like a sense of how to stretch yourself thin, so you can kind of survive or find opportunities that other people cannot see. And but with Uranus and Taurus, it could give you like a sense of stability that you can focus on, especially with the moon and Virgo, because you don't want to be in the energy of worrying too much about what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You can definitely invoke that worrying energy with the moon and Virgo. But yeah, just like what you were saying, Virgo kind of really does would help Taurus in that, because it's like it shows you how you can use this practicality and how practicality is going to go. It's going to, roll up the sleeve and let's try and make this work instead of trying to hold on to value or to define value, and to hold. It's easier to let go of something to fix it so it can be better to suit that purpose. Sometimes we get lost in that Taurus energy and we hold on to it so long that it doesn't get to repair, and we close off the new things that are coming off to our life that can replace it, just because we're holding on to certain values so hard. So for sure, the moon in Virgo definitely helps us make sense out of those practicalities.
I have a great example of this. Like me and a lot of people invested a lot of money in crypto and shit like that. Right now, we're watching how all these things are kind of so debilitated. But right now, with the moon and Virgo, we could like try to rug it off, basically, try to see what we could do with it, basically, and not be so sad about it, but utilize our best of our ability. Even though we lost money, if you sell what you basically bought at a high price, basically you lose. But if what the key is to holding. So if we decide to hold instead of selling, use that mechanical mind of Moon in Virgo, controlling what's happening in Uranus in Taurus, as opposed to letting us scare us completely. We could make it off as opposed to completely losing everything, because like everything
Mm-hmm.
in assets, houses, stock market goes up and goes down. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
about developing the mindset to be able to handle it. And I feel being Uranus in Taurus, a lot of us learn that, learning how to fail and try and to basically try to find money, Let's
because there's a
survive.
lot of erratic movement in value and resources and finding stability for sure. So being able to move on the fly and being able to catch things on the fly is definitely of a benefit. And then look, we're in Aquarius season, so we're not alone. Just like what Harriet was saying, with this full moon, we would have found a place to for our creative expression to be suitable in the groups that we establish ourselves in. So there's an honest communication that's going on, or an honest expression that's going on with this full moon, where we're being accepted, and it's not ego driven and dominant when you try and clash or do your own internal energy when you're amongst other people, because you laid the groundwork with the friendships that you and the associations that you have built, and being honest with yourself in your associations, so that you actually have a team that you can go and rebel against. Virgos, where you really materialize and master that role that you can play within your group, where you Leo's like you discovered, you just figured out this role that you can play, and you had the trust to do that. Now it's refining that and how better you can make sense out of the social world that we find ourselves in, and the social causes, and how we want to be seen. We can start utilizing our associations and how we want to be seen, and our social ability to start benefiting us now that we found some level of comfort, some level of self-expression, some lane that we can hop into. And for sure, Uranus and Taurus is creating that instability that we can kind of ride to find that newness with the North Node. That our spiritual path really solidify into our spiritual path. I feel like North Node has forced a lot of being near the North Node, forced a lot of us to follow our spiritual path, because everything else is so unstable. So it's like you really don't even have a choice.
And force you to go through it in your body, so you can't run away from it. It's bringing the instability everywhere around you, so you can move around, so you get going.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then this is while in conjuncting Jupiter in Aries, the moon in Virgo is. How do you think this is going to end?
So it's gonna be interesting as you're trying to digest your experiences so far. You can't forget what you're trying to expand and extract out your wisdom is, which is basically this image, this expression, this a vision that you want to work on, want to expand on. Right now with the moon in Virgo, you might go in hermit mode and may not be willing to go and fight it for your belief, basically. So which gonna put maybe set you back. So maybe you're gonna learn how to put those two things together, digest what you had done so far, but also be willing to go there and expand and experience on that individuality that's gonna help you later on when Jupiter goes into Taurus. So we could it could expand some form of material wealth based on whatever imagination vision that you sparked when Jupiter was in Aries. So you gotta be careful here. And then in conjunction is
Mm-hmm.
just reminding you how not do not forget about it.
Absolutely, to learn from these experiences too. A lot of times, especially with Jupiter and Aries energies, we would just jump into experiences to going through them, and maybe you can lose yourself in expanding yourself, that you forget to listen or pay attention and really learn from the lessons from those experiences. In a physical sense, you can learn more about yourself individually, but you can also learn more about your body. You can also learn, and all of that incorporates into understanding more about yourself. So we're like the moon in Virgo is like that reminder of, you have to make use out of this knowledge, not just go through at the same time while you're going through it. While you're going through it, you have to assimilate, go through experiences and assimilate, go through experiences and assimilate instead. But the big head of Jupiter and Aries, can really get us far-sighted or lost in the vision of potential, and really getting lost in the visual and not get physical with it. What about Mercury and Capricorn sextiling Venus and Pisces?
So Mercury, where we're thinking, communicate, what we try to analyze, we say about business structure. How can we build this public image for ourselves, especially after the retrograde? We should have collected enough ideas and mentality on how to go about our business, on how can we structure it better, how can we, from a mental realm perspective, and things like that. And now having the sextile to Venus and Pisces, this allowing us opportunity on how to take what we love, appreciate, indulge in, compromise, relate in, which is around in Pisces, basically, which is dreams, illusions, imagination, and what we like to give meaning and reason to, which turn Venus and Pisces very delusional here, especially having it exalted here. But Mercury and Capricorn, I feel like it gives you the mindset of being ambitious, and if you have the right uh, Venus and Pisces energy, where you design the right things, then you could really utilize it. But if you're lost in delusions, desires, that things that is basically unpractical, that Mercury and Capricorn cannot utilize, then it's kind of gonna take off Mercury and Capricorn, since Mercury and Capricorn would like to be more serious.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But you know, because Mercury and Capricorn's in that utilization mindset, I'm sure it can see the opportunities of, you know, Venus's creativity and the sensitivity of Venus. Shit, you just gonna put Venus in a scenario that's like a sonar or a radar or like a detector. And I'm sure Mercury and Capricorn can know that because Venus and Pisces is so sensitive to the vibes and the energetic exchanges that are going on within a situation. You know, with a sensitive person, you can really pick out a bad person really quickly, just like babies. You know, like somebody has real bad energy around them, babies are probably gonna, you know, want to be around them or look at them as a source of comfort and stuff like that. Children in general, they kind of understand those vibes. So Mercury and Capricorn has the best chance of being able to see the most practical way of using this creativity. So really use this boost. You know, we can get lost in the sensuality of things and the imagination and la la land, but we don't realize the potential that plays out in the real physical world. You know, we kind of stay in our imagination land and feel like it can't be brought down. But alignments like this really give us the opportunities and the mental wherewithal, because Mercury and Capricorn, on how to really bring that down and how to utilize it somehow. Practical delusion. It's a real thing, man. That's a real thing.
You know, that sounds like some like a workaholic problem person, you know. Yeah, because you
It,
think about it, Capricorn is late hours at night, and then Pisces like work late hours too. Yeah.
I get what you mean, like the starving, like Oda, like the starving
Mm-hmm.
artist or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mars in Gemini, sextiling Jupiter and Chiron in Aries. How do you think this is gonna hit?
So Mars, our passion, our desires, so far allowed us to basically learn how to really utilize it on a mental realm faculty, and really made us go through a lot of experiences on how to basically argue, analyze, and be more communicative, but be passionate about these things. Mars in Gemini, I feel like you could describe it as trying to fake it till you make it. Since Gemini deals with like curiosity and like early education, with Mars here you could like really take action on trying to fake it to make it, try different new thought forms and mentalities on expanding yourself and try different things. This is why Geminis are like a multiple, like a jack of all trades basically.
Mm-hmm.
And basically
Mm-hmm.
with the sextile to Jupiter, Chiron, and Aries, all that utilization of your passions and desires, and you like building like capacity, but adding a mental faculty to it, will allow you to be to see the opportunity on how to utilize Jupiter and Aries. This vision you try to expand and extract knowledge, what wisdom in, and handle this sense of woundness, scrape that you have in your individuality. But Mars in Gemini is bringing that versatility that's gonna help you juggle it around and really bring
Yeah.
logic to this vision that you're trying to build, an individuality. Give it a word.
Absolutely. Give it direction, you know? It's like you have all this potential with Jupiter and Aries. There's no limit to what you can expand into what you can learn about yourself and how much faith you can direct towards yourself. Mars and Gemini is giving you all the ideas, you know, and the energy behind to go and explore these ideas. So it's definitely a powerful time for us to really try shit out, for us to see what we can be, to see where it leads us.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So it's definitely an intense day on Monday, especially post new moon. So, especially moons in Virgo. So try to necessarily start a lot of things, especially post new moon. Let's focus on the simulation and really breaking down, how Aquarius season has been going for us, and how is our self-expression, and how we want to be received by society and our association, our social life. Really start to assimilate the best ways we can go about these things and what we've learned through going through all of these transits already, and make sense out of that. So assimilate on Monday, really assimilate information and make sense out of information. Slow digestion on Monday. Looking at Tuesday, the moon in Virgo is opposite Venus in Pisces now. How do you think this is going to hit us?
So as we're emotionally moving into this hermit mode, into digesting and practicalizing and organizing what we have so far or what we don't have, which basically is gonna make us worry and basically damage our health. So we gotta focus here, especially with the moon in Virgo, having the opposition to Venus and Pisces is gonna force you not to basically forget uh, because Venus in Pisces is making us have a lot of dreams, illusions, desires, and certain things that could possibly happen, and certain things that could not possibly happen. In the Moon in Virgo, you to see what you could utilize from it, and what basically could get you lost or um, get you to waste too much energy. Like with the moon in Virgo, it's all about efficiency and saving energy. That's why it's all about organization and saving time and building systems over and over. But that's not to say that you should not build system around how you could get to your dreams and illusions, or build system to
Mm-hmm.
trap yourself inside of. So that's kind of a key part with the opposition. It might make it very hard for you to see how you could get to that desire, and so on and so forth. But if you could start to organize your system around how could it possibly get you there, as opposed to being too practical to set up routines and patterns to prevent yourself from getting there.
100%. It's kind of like, I don't know why I got that visual, but like in downtown Toronto, where you don't even have to be in downtown. How you can see the CN Tower, but it'll take you, like, you can see it, and if you walk straight, it'll probably take you 10 to 15 minutes, but it'll take you 2 hours to get to it, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's That's kind of what like oppositions feel like, where you can see the other side, but it's still so far away, even though it's right there. If I had this, I could do this, but I don't have that, and I have to go on the whole hero's motherfucking journey all around, to go and get to that space. So it can definitely be hard, where you may have to make a decision. This also reminds me of like Venus and Pisces. Maybe you're turning up. It's whether you're drinking the sauce. Either you're getting lit, or Moon and Virgo, or you're healing yourself. You're trying to stay healthy. You're a little bit more restrictive. But if you get lit, you're ruining the restrictive part and stuff like that. But if you're being more restrictive and stuff like that, you may miss out on an opportunity to have fun and indulge into an experience. So you're really gonna have to maybe make a decision of fun over work, but try and put yourself in a mental position where you're working so that you can have more fun, and that you're mediating these things. And just like what Harold is saying, you need both in your life. So when you turn down, Venus and Pisces, or a dream and stuff like that, and when those opportunities seem like they're right there, know that you're going to come around to them eventually, or else the moon's in Virgo, so you can really trigger yourself to become very worrisome with the moon in Virgo. So you don't really, you don't want to go into those modes, especially with an opposition to Venus and Pisces. Give you a whole bunch of illusions to justify, now people don't like you and stuff like that, or at least that's what you think. So definitely a decision, but cut yourself, half and half, and be easy with yourself. Remember, it's about assimilation, especially when we're dealing with mutable energy. What about Mercury and Capricorn sextiling Neptune and Pisces?
So as right now, Mercury and Capricorn allow us to think and communicate, analyze about our business status, the plan we have before Mercury goes into Aquarius. It's gonna allow us to basically fixate on these thoughts and basically go find associates that fits our way of thinking. But Mercury and Capricorn is like the construction plan. You're thinking over that. So now you're seeing the opportunity on utilizing how you can utilize Neptune and Pisces, the planet of dreams, illusions, what possibly could happen, what possibly could not happen. This is like very hard to deal with. Actually, can I ask you a question? When did Obama come into office? Did he come in 2012?
2008
When
was his
did
first time, but he won again in 2012.
when did Neptune enter Pisces?
2012.
Oh, because like I was seeing it, it could be like very, it could be very related because his whole energy and how he brought a lot of illusion to this world.
Absolutely.
But now with Mercury and Capricorn, you could see how you could basically utilize these dreams, illusions, and all these metaphysical ability to construct your plan and what could work for you or what could not work for you. Basically try to work hard to bring these things down, as opposed to let them get you delusional, get you, or they could get you disorganized, or get you lost of your train of thought that deal with business status. So you gotta really focus here. So you can't let them outweigh each other, but utilize them.
100%. 100%. Neptune really does have, and it's funny because Neptune, taps into, spirituality, overtones and psychic overtones, and a lot of aspects of psychics and intuition is predicting the future, and that's something that people don't really give Neptune some credit for being able to, just these generational planets and these high vibrating planets, especially the winter planets and stuff like that. They're always thinking about the future. Saturn's thinking about the future. Neptune's thinking about the future. Uranus is thinking about the future and shit like that. If you get what I mean.
They're not
So
selfish like the personal planet.
exactly. They're accounting for a lot more things. So with Neptune, which is your belief system, this is integral in your future planning of what you believe is possible. So a lot of us with our negative belief systems, we limit the future that is possible for us because of these negative belief systems. But your imagination is literally helping you plan for your future of what things can be like, and it doesn't have to take the specific shape and form. But that's why Neptune is more of a vibe, more of an energy. You're supposed to know how you're supposed to feel, and that's more of the important aspect of imagination, less the exact image that comes apart. So Mercury and Capricorn, like we were saying, Capricorn, Aquarius, Piscean energy, the far out, they understand this. So Mercury and Capricorn understands that. So it's like it gives you the opportunity. Okay, so this is your belief system. This isn't practical. And breaking down maybe your la land, or give you the opportunity to see the truth through your la land, and maybe allow you to restructure. But maybe you have such a limited thing, and you should be dreaming bigger. You should be dreaming more, and you're really limiting the belief systems that you have. However, it playing out, especially with the moon in Virgo opposing Venus on Tuesday, with all of this energy going on, a lot's going to be shown to you about your subconscious mind and about your belief system and about what you believe and how you can utilize that in a practical sense and how you can utilize that to bolster yourself in a higher position in the world and stop being victim to your emotions and your beliefs and start working in tandem with them. This is a water and earth day. This is a whole yin day. So
Yeah, yeah.
understand that and be receptive.
Like in elements, earth and water, they deal like restoration. So like water element and the earth element. If you look at it from a biology point of view, look at all the organs that deal with these things. The lymphatic system is water element. The digestive system, the earth element. You got the hormone system that heals you too. That's earth element. You get the
Yeah.
bones too, and you get the basically other water system like Scorpio reproductive system. Your testosterone, your hormones, and then your skin. This is very important too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. All ways that we receive, for sure. Or get structure. That's for sure. So that's how Tuesday's looking. Very yin day. Looking at Wednesday, the moon in Virgo cusping with Libra is opposite Neptune and Pisces, uh, which we kind of, I guess we kind of already kind of talked about the energy, but while in conjuncting Saturn and Aquarius.
So as we're emotionally practicalizing, we're heading off to the energy of Libra, trying to initiate some form of relationship or harmony based on what we practicalize or what we organize so far. Because there's no point of organizing and being in hermit mode forever without ever trying to head there for be in a relationship or try to meet people and connect with people. It's actually
Bring
further
it out
out
into the world.
basically, and that's actually allow you to test out what you integrated so far and things along these lines. But with the in conjunction to Saturn and Aquarius, you to realize, like I said earlier, with the hermit mode energy, Saturn and Aquarius require you to be the revolutionary. A lot of time in histories, the ones who revolted are the Aquariuses. Like a lot of people who went and saw the United States of America, all of them had a lot of Aquarius energies going on, and I think that's what it takes and things like that, opposed to Virgo. Virgo maybe could bring in the facts and bring the management behind the entire revolution, but and not necessarily ready to handle the revolution. That's something more Saturn Aquarius wants you to build your mind around.
That's true. I imagine something like Saturn and Aries. Aries has this adventurous starting energy, but they wouldn't have a plan. You know what I mean? Or they would try and start something new that didn't exist before. But with the Aquarius energy, it's like they're creating a new version of European society when they were coming over to America, like a better edition of what they were doing already, not necessarily something brand new that the world's never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So for sure, Aquarius, Saturn and Aquarius does have that energy. And while we're practicalizing that with the moon in Virgo, is really helping us understand how we can utilize our emotions, making sense out of our emotions, so that they don't get in the way in Saturn and Aquarius. Because Saturn and Aquarius is gonna blow away your water, and it's gonna blow away. So the moon in Virgo is really helping us make sense out of all of that. So when we encounter Saturn in Aquarius and its teamwork makes your June work, and maybe sometimes the strict energy, this energy kind of forcing you to be selfless, to be seen in a certain way, or to deal with being seen in a certain way. When your
Mm-hmm.
emotions are in order, you can walk in a room full of vultures and not be as affected.
Mm-hmm. With Saturn and Aquarius, I feel like a lot of us really uh, developed a lot of I know, but Moon and Virgo bring that like small details that how to integrate that I know as opposed to just a knowing. Because a lot of people, we're all going through Saturn and Aquarius as generational people, but a lot of people are not gonna be able to integrate their experience or what happened so far. So that's a major key too, and that takes a lot of energy and just keeping up with the news, keeping up with different information. There's technology that takes attention span and things like that. And I bet like obviously the sun going to Aquarius made us more aware of that energy, and they need to hold on to it.
For sure. That reminds me of, like, say, like a doctor or like a scientist or researcher or something like that, reading like a bunch of studies on diet and nutrition and maybe being well read. But the Virgo, and that's Aquarius, but Virgo energy is eating different diets and learning through the physical experiences. For sure. So look, combining the two, the guy can really have read 100 studies, but if he's never went through it himself, there's a limit to how much he can guide people, and give advice and stuff like that. So just like what Harith was saying, the little details really does
Mm-hmm.
add up to the knowledge that you're able to give, and that may be something that pokes at you on Wednesday. That really gets pushed to the forefront. So yeah, that's how Wednesday's looking. Looking at Thursday, the moon in Libra now, making a trine with Mars in Gemini. How do you think this is gonna hit?
So right now we're gonna be in the energy trying to emotionally connect with our relationship, trying to be more harmonious, trying to initiate a connection with people, and having the trine to Mars in Gemini. is gonna give us basically the opportunity on utilize all the skills we developed with Mars and Gemini through our passion and desires for argument, analyzation. But we're gonna bring the broadnesses to our social life, so we could look have like we have more swag. We could communicate way better. But Moon and Libra obviously brings to Mars and Gemini a sense of harmony or class, a sense of like a customer, like customer service, because Mars and Gemini could be very aggressive, could be, it could have like, it could be like I said earlier, very fake, like trying to fake it to make it type of energy. And Moon in
Mm-hmm.
Libra could bring the social integrity to it and create the opportunity for that to happen. For and now also having the opposition to Jupiter and Aquarius and Aries, obviously that's showing you the situations and the opposition and difficulties that you need to deal with when it comes to what you need to expand and extract knowledge and wisdom in. But with the Moon in Libra, that might make you focus on balance, harmony, which makes you forget what you're trying to expand and extract knowledge and wisdom in, which is gonna cause you obviously to develop more wounds. So you will probably want to obviously initiate relationships around that passion and desire that you want to expand knowledge and wisdom in, and obviously to help you deal with that wound directly as opposed to let it hide away, basically. It's the opposition, making it very straightforward for you.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And I can see how, we may have, the desire to communicate, like trines definitely do give us, added benefits, but it can also make us go too far with energy sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
this trine can lead to a little bit too much yapping, a little bit too much talking, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
too much friendliness, or entertaining too much ideas based off of, or too much conversation based off of trying to be nice or trying to be friendly or trying to establish some type of equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you get what I mean. So there's definitely that urge, or that ability for us to use this desire to communicate and to direct thought and be curious, and have the energy to entertain conversations, to really initiate a relationship with other people, or a relationship with larger aspects, if you get what I mean. After look at coming from the moon in Virgo, after we're refining how we move within our social group. Libras, kind of like that, more of a finished product, that
Mm-hmm.
more of an artistic product that really can be the shining aspect of that group. You see where you can excel within that group, if you get what I mean, and how you can be the icebreaker for the other group. This is you being the Jehovah Witness, knocking on other people's doors, spreading the good message of the group that you are associated with.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the seeds that you've been planting, you may get some niggas, you may convert some motherfuckers. Now it doesn't have to be Jehovah's Witness, you know what I mean? But it's that energy of how they go and kind of recruit, or because of the group that they're associated in, and they seem like they're established, that they establish an equilibrium emotionally, while within this association, you kind of look at it like, wow, yeah, what is that knowledge? Yeah, it's way more presentable to other people.
So, but you gotta be careful here with the Moon and Libra. It's a cardinal sign, so it's very hard for them to hold on whatever they initiate. So that energy will put you to initiate all those harmonious relationships that sometimes are too expensive to keep, and that's what you're gonna realize later on when the Moon goes into Scorpio. Because like a relationships, if they're not gonna be a source of energy, or they're gonna separate you from like what you want to do.
Absolutely. Or have you signed some esoteric contracts that, that
Mm-hmm.
are uneven because you were trying to be nice. You were trying to be kind. Moon in Libra is kind energy. You were trying to extend out the giving hand, but look at Jupiter and Aries, the energy, we're supposed to be expanding. So maybe there's a balance that could be had, where we still care about being fair and being honest, but not to the point where we take a 60-40 deal, if you get what I mean. But
Mm-hmm.
you may get, rocked to sleep to taking those 60-40 deals on Thursday, compromising the expansion that you owe yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you really don't want to let that happen. Go 50-50. You may have to compromise a little bit, but compromise just a little bit, so that you still have your forward movement.
And remember, it's the moon is just for 2 days. Jupiter is gonna be in Aries for a long time. So like, think about it, it's more like a conversation or two type of energy, as opposed to
Yeah,
like a
moon goes into Scorpio, you can tell that nigga, no, shut the fuck up, and it'll be alright.
basically. But Jupiter in Aries, that's gonna be still there. Oh, I gotta still build on that. I gotta expand on that. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So yeah, another challenging day or another opposition where we may be forced to make a decision, either, cater to other people and their other emotions, in order to establish an equilibrium, or, facilitate more of our own individual expansion, or at least it's going to be a tug of war of making those decisions. And remember, cut 50-50. Make sure you have enough time to still do your own thing, or to expand your individuality, or at least that's the center part, that's in the contract that you are writing and signing. So yeah, that's how Thursday is looking. Looking at Friday, we have the moon in Libra trining the sun and Saturn in Aquarius. How do you think this is hitting?
So as we're emotionally obviously focused on initiating relationships, harmonious communication, trying to be liberal in customer service, this is going to allow us to basically create opportunity with Sun and Saturn and Aquarius, which we're aware of, on what we're trying to create restrictions and boundaries, and how we're trying to bring reality in which area in our life, which is really trying to add this progressive energy of Aquarius, of finding the right association, aka a soul group that could help us make money, aka build a structure for a longevity. Moon in Libra, you're bringing a sense of harmony, communication, so that progressive energy does not bring a lot of stress. With the Aquarius energy, especially from a biology point of view, I can see how all the electrical aspect could lead to a lot of stress, all these different mentality colliding, and especially like when it comes to like Congress, all these different men arguing, or like that causes a lot of stress. But Moon in Libra, it could add a sense of harmony, that sense of communication that allow it to ease and control it. But Aquarius, Saturn, and the Sun in Aquarius brings that sense of responsibility to the Moon in Libra. So it's that it does not allow its like people, its diplomats, just to initiate random relationships that have nothing to do with the benefit for the state, or be in this benefit, aka communicating too much on media, social news, which I'm pretty something that a lot of government goes experience.
Sounds like a little bit more of that recruitment shit that I was talking about. It's funny how, or that's what a lot of the sex traffickers did. Jeffrey Epstein and a lot of people. They will have an attractive young woman go out and go and be the image for these young girls to go and convince them, the positive image of what can happen. How schemes and Ponzi schemes and all of that, different type of shit. Niggas trying to get you signed up for some shit to get you in a suit, and trying to pretend to be the put together thing that you may want to be, a package that you may want to open to try and get you to join the team, to bring you over.
I always thought that putting females in customer service will help you sell more or make your business much more easier. Like I know that for a fact will happen. Because from an energetic point of view, it makes sense.
It's always like that, for sure, for sure. And on a subconscious level, I respond to that too. I'm definitely going to be nicer to a lady, especially an attractive one. Automatically, just subconsciously, and that's the energy that Libra kind of brings. Like the deliberateness, the friendliness, that energy. So yeah, and then we have access to that energy too. So even our more friendliness, our openness, our willingness to start partnerships and to start a larger conversation emotionally, to start to connect with people on a larger stage, because of the sense of stability and mastery, and the sense we made out of our emotions back in when the moon was in Virgo. So it can really help us add to the groups that we are a part of, add to and help us see more of the roles that we can play, help us see more of the relationships that we can be, help us bridge groups together, to really um, be an advocate for a social cause, to really be an advocate for a body of knowledge, to really be an advocate of some type of humanitarianness, in a way. There's real energy to take that seat on Friday for sure. What about the square to Pluto and Capricorn though? It sounds like there's going to be a challenge with the Moon and Libra.
So obviously, we know Pluto in Capricorn takes more importance than the Moon in Libra, because it's very important for us to take power and control and transform our business and status, and not get in these Libra customer service conversation that waste our
Yeah.
energy. Focus more on the Saturnic aspect of Libra, Saturn exalted there also, as opposed to the Venus. Obviously, at the Venus when it's needed. That's why business, all business have customer service. That's obviously much needed. But right now, you gotta take priority when it comes to transforming and adding more power control to your business. But learn how to add more harmony to it. So as obviously everything is so intense as it goes on. But if you taking the charity aspect of it, trying to add more harmony, people would be appreciated. As we know, everything is getting inflated in terms of economy. So it's almost like they would obviously people would appreciate it more because people would understand what actually was going on. But don't let it
Ex-
ring you the other way around, where people now want to like take your money or lower the cost of like what you're trying to take power control off.
100%, 100%. That is so true. Pluto and Capricorn is just waiting to use that kindness. Um, if you allow it, and this is why it's important, to cut those 50-50 checks. With Moon and Libra, it's so easy. The tarot card is the shorty with the blindfold on, holding the two swords across, and it kind of, represents conformity in a way. So, there's really going to be this pressure, maybe to conform, like what Harriet was saying, but with that added sociability directed to a practical cause, like that Saturnian energy, like what Harriet was talking about, where you're not creating alliances because you're scared. You're creating alliances because you two coming together is going to make you more powerful. Like when that's the center of the alliances, you'll find that you have more resiliences. Like just like what Harriet was saying, that's not going so crazy in your customer service so that your product starts to dip, or your other aspects of business starts to dip. But because of your customer service, you've developed such a good rapport and a good relationship with customers, or whoever it may be, that they come back, that they trust you, that you handle the square in Pluto when control tries to get taken over you, because you had that positivity, that friendliness. People will feel bad. This is a business going down or something like that. People donate money because, one, that business has always been nice and they always delivered on what it was, or they genuinely care, and those relationships are there to help you keep afloat.
And that's real shit. Look at like in downtown Toronto, like family business that's been there for a while. Some people try to save them. So like I think that's very true with what you're saying. While other business
Absolutely.
more like a commercial did not as survive, like more indigenous, more like that mindset. Like people came together and supported them. Yeah, so I agree with that.
100%, especially during COVID. Like if you didn't have a good repertoire, you probably fell down. Where people may go out of their way, to do certain things or to get certain things from you. For sure, for sure. What about Mercury conjuncting Pluto and Capricorn? In those late degrees of Capricorn, having Mercury added to this Plutonian energy.
So hopefully we have enough thoughts, ideas, and mentalities on how to approach our business, our status, so to at least the construction part of it. So when Mercury goes into Aquarius, we know how to so we could look for association for it. But the conjunction is adding the scarcity aspect of like we got to really peak our way of thinking so we could handle what's going on in terms of economy, so we could really build our public image, uh, or it let people control our public image, or no, our way of thinking on how to create our public image, which is something I'm seeing in the
Mm-hmm.
internet. Create like right now, I can see how the shadow government use this energy to construct new ways to make money, but these new ways are probably gonna lead to certain things we're not seeing in the future that might lead to certain long-term damages and things like that. Like just the simple aspect of people working in the office and sitting for the chair for like long hours and so on destroyed their like made them so their hips their body so tight they're so in their head,
Absolutely.
and that made me create so much stress. And now think about adding more technology, more AI. Now people want to spend more time on the internet. The body is completely destroyed, and they're really tweaking your nervous system to a level that you could do everything like while you're sitting, and really that puts you in like a death state basically, because you're
One
not
hundred
utilizing
percent.
your whole body.
100%. When Jordan Peterson was on Rogan recently, he said that this virtualization of the world is increasing the number of psychopaths, which is
Dude.
is 100% true.
Mhm.
100% true
Yeah,
because it facilitates that environment. It is that environment.
exactly.
So yeah, just like what Harold is saying, progressing to Pluto and Aquarius, if you don't have your wits about you in this shit, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Nah,
You won't be
nah.
able to operate at that high level of efficiency, or at least you'll be highly dependent on whoever's taking power and control. And then you may be forced to make a transformation that you don't necessarily want to. This is a change of mindset. It's either you're being forced and backed into a corner, or you're transforming into your mind into what it needs to be for you to move into the forward. It's like you saying, okay, I can't move forward thinking like this and having these mentalities anymore. Pluto come, with this conjunction on Friday, we better be ready to really be able to transform our minds to
Yeah,
to
exactly.
what's the most practical, to directing it to our goals, to really be able to obtain that higher to get over that lump of Pluto and Capricorn. Otherwise, we're going to be forced to start ideas are going to be planted into our head by external
Mm-hmm.
forces.
And like this, we're dealing with Earth energy, Pluto in Capricorn, Mercury in Capricorn, Uranus in Taurus. So it's not you can't run away from that transformation. You could think about, oh, I want to start a business, like, but you're forced to like bring those mentalities down here and work hard for it. That's what a Capricorn is all about. Like work hard to the point that your bones hurt. This is what a lot of
Yeah,
Capricorns experience too, like a lot of restrictions, bound and shit like that, stiffness.
for sure. For sure. Capricorn's reality is very much material,
Alas,
in a
alas.
way. Very much.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But they can make it spiritual for somehow. Somehow. They
Do I
always
like
do.
a spiritual Capricorn sound like an insane energy if you could tap into it.
For sure.
I
That
think
sounds like black magic, voodoo, or some
mhm,
Jewish mysticism type shit.
I think I have Neptune in Capricorn. Like that's how I always thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, my Neptune's like 1 degree Aquarius, so yeah,
Oh
yours would be
yeah, 29
Capricorn
degree.
something.
Yeah, 29 degree
Yeah,
Capricorn. Yeah. I
yeah.
always had dreams
Is
and
your
visions of
Uranus in Capricorn too, or is your Uranus in
Uranus in
Aquarius?
Aquarius, like 8 degree or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how Friday's looking. Looking at Saturday, we have um, Mercury entering Aquarius while it's squaring the moon that in Scorpio now. How do you think this energy is going to be hitting?
So right now, as we're being in the state of emotionally transforming our vulnerabilities, are which are sometimes hold us back from doing what we need to for especially this Aquarius season. It's all about progressing. Aquarius is all about like the future. While I see Scorpio more about like the dark ages, what's behind the scene, what we don't know about. So the moon, having the moon in Scorpio here is really forcing you to face these vulnerabilities, these things behind the scene, so you can propel yourself forward into the future to transforming yourself properly. If you can transform yourself properly, clean, detox your body, then you can handle all those high neurological adaptation that you need to go through to keep up with all this what's going on. Like a fat, obese person, I don't think is going to be able to be ready to keep with what's going on with the world news and understand every single high thought form that's going on. This is
Or
why,
have the energy for it. Yeah,
or
for
have the
sure.
or probably because he can be too distracted or focused on food and bringing himself down, like, which makes sense. But also having the square to Mercury in Aquarius, as we're thinking and communicating, analyzing about associating, networking, being more progressive, and hopefully we did the right thinking about what business plan that we're gonna now associate. I think add more thinking to it now, but we don't want the square to prevent us from not going there, because obviously the moon is Scorpio, so we gotta focus on that too. So we gotta learn how to think around our vulnerabilities.
Yeah, to find a logical way of looking at them, and even the sociability of Aquarius, and maybe having an associations and friends and social groups to talk or discuss about things, or maybe even a situation, a challenge where you're kind of forced to talk about your insecurities amongst your associates or your friends groups, or to discuss this, or it comes up in some type of shape or form and fashion, and maybe it can put it in a perspective where you see the logic in it, or you can reason it out and go through it. But it may be a struggle, like it's going to be like a little battle where you maybe have to battle with your insecurities to confront them. And the only way that this challenge plays out negatively is if you really suppress it. Just like what Harith was saying, the moon really in Scorpio really representing detox, like an emotional detox. You letting go of some emotions. So it's shining the light on your vulnerabilities so you can let them go, so you can have more internal power. And the focus in Mercury in Aquarius, the mental focus on being logical, and putting your emotions aside, it's challenging. So you have strong vulnerabilities. It's gonna be a battle, but don't suppress it. You have to kind of go through that battle. A lot of times people don't sit down and really think through the dumb shit they feel or think about themselves. Be like, oh, nobody loves me. Like, really sit down and think about that. How much people are in the world, like, just take one of your interests. It could be any interest. You can just fucking, like, nothing be interesting about you but you liking Oreos. Nigga, you know how much millions of people like Oreos in this world? I guarantee you can make a friendship based off of just that. You know how
Dude,
much friendships I made just off of bud, just off of weed and shit like that?
dude, facts. I made a bunch of relationships about anime by itself, gym
And
by
just
itself.
by itself.
Like, hey, bro, like that's facts, facts.
That's what I mean. So it's you really have to stop limiting yourself, or not challenging those beliefs. Really allow some logic to go through there, and then you can start utilizing them. You start to find ideas, and once you start communicating about them, maybe you can start helping other people too. There's no need to be so vulnerable, and that vulnerability can really be used. That
I,
vulnerability is very useful.
that's why I like it. I think it's the moon and Scorpio will add depth to the Mercury and Aquarius, as you're thinking about associated. You're not obviously, you have a backbone to why you're associating. You have a reason. You're not just out there trying to
Yes.
argue for no reason. That's almost like a failed political party type of shit. But if you went
Yeah,
through, you have great transformation. You have things behind the scenes you need to deal with. That could be the backbone of what you're doing.
for sure. And then look at the whole conjunction with Capricorn. This seems like a new mind, a refined mind that's propelling you forward into the future. You may be having some old, outdated emotions that don't align with this new mind that you need to have, and that's going to be ever more clear on Saturday. And that you need to purge those emotions. So yeah, that's Saturday. Looking at Sunday, we have the moon in Scorpio opposing the North Node in Uranus and Taurus. So how do you think this energy is going to be hitting us?
So obviously we're focused more on emotional transformation, detoxing out of our vulnerabilities. So we could obviously use them. Transformation lead to us creating more source of energy, which is interesting. I feel like there should be more studies on the reproductive system and actually how it actually produce energy from a point of view of detoxing and things like that. But having the opposition to the North Node and the Uranus in Taurus, which is obviously focuses to make us put a lot of energy into our physical reality, into creating this unique original value, but for us to move to do that, we need to be able to detox our vulnerabilities. Like a fat person is not gonna be able to perform on a high level environment with everything is crashing down. So you need to obviously detox, but also it's providing you the emotional body what you truly desire to have, to know what to go for when it comes to Uranus and Taurus. So it's not just you're not falling for everything, since everything in here is so debilitated. Or you can it's very easy for you to lose your money. The moon in Scorpio might give you the emotional depth to know the feeling, to know when to go for it, as opposed to get lost with what's happening around here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. And all of that newness with Uranus and Taurus and North Node in an area that's genuinely more stable. I could see a moon, the moon being in Scorpio will have you looking for, deeper value than something surface level, if you get what I mean, wanting to connect with something deeper than just looking, better, or aesthetics and stuff like that. You looking strong or something like that. Yeah, I'm connecting to a deeper one. But the challenges of the world are kind of, you know, putting in the forefront, more materialism, more real world type stuff. But there could be a real craving for depth. But just like what you're saying with the it could bring depth to Aquarius, I feel like that's what's adding to is it's forcing us these new changes now. We can't just make new changes or rebel against old outdated systems and new ones and expect to be successful unless we really genuinely see the behind the scenes energy of it. If we really connect to it to a deep core level, if you get what I mean, where we see the value in things on a deep level. This is what allows you to die for a cause, because it resonated to such a deep level in you. So I definitely see the challenges of that. Maybe the challenges of the physical world materializing and changing, really challenging where you can find depth and meaning within this world, and challenging what you can connect to.
Because if you don't transform here, like Taurus represents your neck, and if you don't transform like out of your vulnerabilities and what you hold on to, then what you communicate was gonna come out of your neck, your mouth is gonna be a lot of useless stuff, not useful for
Hmm.
what you're trying to build. So that you gotta be careful of that.
Or make you hide, or make you more
Mm-hmm.
secretive, and less on the surface, where you get stuck maybe trying to control and manipulate things,
Mm-hmm.
and have emotions that you don't express on the surface.
It can make you sound untrustworthy, as everyone knows we're going through this economical crisis, which is something you should be careful of. Which is you should be okay with communicating about your vulnerabilities, since we're all like crashing down. Which obviously will create the time for you to find opportunities to create a unique original value, instead
Mm-hmm.
of focusing
Mm-hmm.
on all that emotional buildup, aka detaching from the scenario or running away. I could see about how everything's going on. It's really forcing. Like I could feel something like hiding away from handling certain situation, dealing with economy or money and how to handle this future.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Or, responding so emotionally where you don't move,
Yeah, man,
like you
you
get
act
into the,
numb,
the, the,
yo.
the abyss.
You
Exactly.
put yourself in a gothic mindset, yo.
Exactly. Like that's a real possibility. You have to find the meaning and
Mm-hmm,
in the material. Understand that these things are not separate. The North Node is here too, and that's what it's been whispering to us for a long time. It's been whispering to us in a long time. When it was in Gemini, I was peeping that just the level of conversation and just hearing people out. It doesn't necessarily have to be based off on anything. Just hearing people talk and communication and just directing your mind in different places, how valuable that is, and how much that is going to help us in the future, or to connect spiritually North Node being in Taurus is the same thing, you know, putting us back into our body and showing us the spiritual direction of where our bodies can lead us, you know, but it's going to be hard to get there without that deeper meaning. So it's really a challenge to find the meaning in an unstable world.
It's almost, it feels like the world is tagging you from all places. Taurus, your physical body, and then Scorpio, your emotional body, and then Aquarius, your mind, and like all these neurological patterns there's a building.
It's facts. It's facts. Um, but when you have, that's how you create. Like I swear that you can create whole type of another level spells. Like if somebody were to, and I'm a Scorpio too. I had that energy. Like my room. My mom would tell me when she walked into my room, she just felt. You know, I ain't probably even look at her yet, but she told me sometimes I will look at her and I'll give her the death stare, or you know, she'll knows that she doesn't. Um, that I don't want her to be in the room, and you know she'll kind of get the message and leave and stuff like that. But she felt the vibe of not wanting to be there. But imagine using that for for good, you know, what type of protection spells, what type of somebody were to steal some shit for you, what type of voodoo, their hair will fall off and type of shit, you know, they start getting hives and shit like that. Niggas don't know what's going on. Like it has that type of protective energy where you'll be able to do anything.
I get you saying
manifest anything
instead of using it against your family, like subconsciously. I see. Yeah,
exactly.
That's funny
exactly.
how we could utilize our power or our energy against the people we know, but we're against our enemy or what we need to do, we can't.
Yep.
It's just like way
It's
harder.
crazy.
It's like way more complicated.
That's what it is, and you know, it's all like neural pathways that is in the brain where we become so familiar with expressing things in one way, where we don't even create the familiarity of, you know, any other way things can be expressed. You know, that's the advent of childhood trauma that leads to all these defense mechanisms that people have these days.
That's crazy because like if Aries represent like your like early childhood development, but also your brain and nervous
Mm-hmm.
system, what wired you there. You can think about Aquarius, the 11th house. When you get there, you're learning how to rewire your brain with other people, like other
That.
associated.
Mm-hmm.
But for
Mm-hmm.
you
And
to
add a
get
little bit more logic to it.
and for you to
You know,
get
you
there,
can't just be the childlike response anymore.
exactly. But for you to get there, you gotta go through all these zodiac signs. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So yeah, guys, that's how the week is looking. Yeah, stay safe out of there, and really, especially starting out in the week, really, things are about a simulation, and the week is closing itself off with detoxing and letting feelings go. So, you know, by now we should really have some understanding of how we want to be seen in the world and how we want to associate with people in the world. So now we should really be refining that to see where those extents can go. So really assimilate, you know, you should have